Imagine you wake up tomorrow and your bank account is empty. Not because of a hack, not because of bad decisions, but because someone thousands of miles away used your tax dollars to fund their empire of luxury, lies, and crime. This isn't a movie. This happened. And the people who did it? They laughed all the way to their mansions. Today, we expose America's billion-dollar fraud crisis, the full story that mainstream media buried. Most people think fraud is small time. A fake check here, a stolen credit card there. But the truth is far darker. Every single year, the United States loses over $1 trillion to fraud. That's not a typo. $1 trillion. Government programs, welfare systems, healthcare, all of them hemorrhaging money to criminal networks operating in broad daylight. And the system? The system looked the other way. To understand how this happened, we need to go back to a $10 million mansion in Los Angeles, California. It was a Tuesday morning when federal agents from IC, the FBI, and the Department of Homeland Security surrounded a luxury property. From the outside, it looked like any other millionaire's home, with a circular driveway, imported marble, and cars that cost more than most Americans' homes. But inside was the nerve center of a $1.9 billion fraud empire. The operation, codenamed Metro Surge, had been tracking this network for months. What they found went beyond anything they expected: stolen welfare funds, fake companies, and shell accounts that moved money across 3 continents in under 48 hours. And the people behind it? They weren't masterminds hiding in dark rooms. They were your neighbors, driving your streets, smiling at your cameras. Here's where it gets even darker. Investigators discovered the money wasn't just being spent on mansions and luxury cars. Portions of the stolen funds, taxpayer money, your money, were being funneled overseas to groups with known ties to terror organizations like Al-Shabaab. How is this possible? It started with exploitation of government assistance programs and a network of fake identities. Within years, what started as petty fraud grew into a sophisticated criminal enterprise spanning California, Minnesota, and 4 foreign countries. Operation Metro Surge resulted in hundreds of arrests. But investigators warn, this is just the surface. The question is, how did this go on for so long? The answer is uncomfortable. It means confronting a system where government oversight was underfunded and verification systems were outdated. In some cases, local officials actively interfered with federal investigations. California and Minnesota, 2 states at the center of the scandal, had policies that complicated federal enforcement. This is documented evidence from federal lawsuits and court records. The system failed because accountability was sacrificed for bureaucracy. What's most disturbing is the silence. Whistleblowers tried to alert authorities, but the political pressure to stay quiet was immense. That's not incompetence. That's complicity. Today, hundreds of arrests have been made, but accountability only comes when people know the truth. $1.9 billion isn't just a number. It's schools that weren't built and veterans who didn't get care. If this video opened your eyes, subscribe to Empire Ledger Studio. Every week, we expose the stories that billion-dollar institutions don't want you to see. Drop a comment below. Do you think anyone powerful will actually go to jail for this?
I want to know what you think.
Yahan Apki script ka maze detail. Deep dive expansion. Hijo video ko asli 15-minute length takla JGI. Is main maze sanjin inkashafit, revelations, or global network ki tafsil shamil hai. Scroll final script. Expanded Part 2. But the $1.9 billion mansion raid was just the tip of a much more dangerous iceberg. To truly grasp the scale, we have to look at the ghost network, the thousands of fake identities created using stolen social security numbers of deceased citizens and even children. This wasn't just a few people lying on forms. This was a factory-scale operation. Investigators found stacks of burner phones, thousands of prepaid debit cards, and hard drives filled with the personal data of unsuspecting Americans. These criminals didn't just steal money, they stole the credit scores and futures of thousands. As the FBI peeled back the layers of Operation Metro Surge, they discovered that the money wasn't just sitting in LA bank accounts. It was moving through a hawala system, an ancient, untraceable method of transferring value that leaves no digital footprint. From the luxury driveways of California, the trail crossed the Atlantic into small offshore banks in the Cayman Islands and then vanished into shell companies in Dubai. This is how $1.9 billion disappears. One day, it's a welfare check meant for a struggling family in Minnesota. 48 hours later, it's being used to purchase bulk military equipment in a conflict zone halfway across the world. The connection to Al-Shabaab wasn't an accident. It was the intended destination. While federal agents were tied up in red tape and local jurisdictional battles, the masterminds were building a bridge between American tax dollars and global instability. They exploited the very compassion of the American system, taking funds meant for the vulnerable and turning them into weapons of war. And the silence from the top? That's where the true scandal lies. Internal memos show that as early as 2021, high-ranking officials were warned about the hemorrhaging of funds. Yet the flow didn't stop. Verification checks were bypassed in the name of efficiency and emergency speed. Whistleblowers who tried to flag these massive transfers were often sidelined, their reports filed away in dusty cabinets where they wouldn't see the light of day. We are talking about a systemic failure so profound that it borders on criminal negligence. When you look at the boarded-up schools in inner cities and the veterans sleeping on the streets, remember this number: $1 trillion. That is the price of the fraud epidemic. It is the cost of a system that forgot who it was supposed to protect. The arrests made so far are a start, but until the political architects of this negligence are held accountable, the mansions will keep being built, and the money will keep vanishing. The story of the LA mansion isn't an ending, it's a warning.